Someone asked me recently, it was like, what do you think is your best speech you've ever done? I said the one that the audience needed the most.
Dang.
It's not what I want to say, is what the person needs. And we first have to understand that messaging is marketing. Everything that you do it with the assumption that it'll be wildly successful.
One, you can automate the thing that frustrates you. I love that you said
100%. I tell someone, if 10, 15, 20, 30 people ask you the same question, if you enjoy answering that question, create a community around it. If you don't enjoy answering that question, get in front of a camera once, answer it, and sell that.
in the business context. But I don't know. I don't do a good job. Like, how do people get good at messaging?
Yeah. So, couple rules before we even get into messaging. A confused mind always rambles. Simplicity, clarity always allow someone to point at something. If you're watching this video, you're about to make a whole lot of money.
I'm so excited about today's episode. Going to be talking with a friend. His name's Marcus Y. Rozier, and this guy is a phenomenal businessman, communicator, pastor. There's so many things we have in common. When I met you about maybe, I think 2.5 months ago now, 3 months, just a natural connection, and it's phenomenal what you do. And I'm titling this because it all comes down to title and messaging, which is what we're going to talk about today, is, essentially how to make millions with your message.
I love it.
Alliteration. We just learn it from you. No. And this podcast is about, people who are killing it in their department. And there are so many. You're a very multifaceted person. And that's why I feel like I resonate. We have so many different worlds we tap into. Yeah. And I just want to get into the conversation about, I think, what is your superpower, which is communication and messaging, and how you've helped people develop what that is and why that's so important. Yeah. Just introduce yourself, what it is you do. And
man, so I'm Mark. Number one, let me first say thank you for having me, bro. I don't just say this. You are a friend of my mind. Right. I always tell people it's one thing for people to be around you that keeps you company while your mind is bored. Right. So from pitch and catch, I'm always learning. You saw while you were talking before cameras rolling, I'm jotting down notes from things that you say. So there's a level of intellect and genius, but most importantly, your character, man, like who you are as a person. You're a brother. Yeah, it's 2 months in, but I know God connected us.
100.
But who am I? Marcus Y. Rozier. I always say, if I could live my life in a way that I couldn't tell you what I do, what does my life say? Well, I've been able to write some books. I've been able to speak, been able to help a lot of people make money. But ultimately, what I do as a businessman, we work with coaches and entrepreneurs to help them make the transition into CEOs of what we call stress-free $1 million companies.
I need that in my life.
Go ahead. So we show them how, of course, we build out their entire company for them. That's education company, marketing, sales, all of that type of thing. But we show them how to create consistent 5- and 6-figure days working less than 5 days a month. And we do that through a ongoing launch and sales cycle that's really seamless, simple, showing them how to remove themselves from the business, right? So that's been a blessing because I found so many people love what they do, but at a certain point, it becomes what I call the team too much, do too much. It's like, hey, create content, run ads, do a webinar, do a challenge. Hey, do this, do that. And it just becomes a whole lot. So now we're trying to work with entrepreneurs and coaches and help them learn how to think and move like a CEO. Like you can hire, everything that needs to be done doesn't have to be done by you.
So good.
So how do you commission your thoughts into a process that someone else can manage? And that's really what we're helping people do to really grow that.
Dude, fire. I mean, I literally feel like another reason why we're so connected, or like just how we've been able to be, just have really good conversations. We've hung out a little bit in Tampa. But I just feel like I'm that guy, because I'm a creative. And so things that I do, I hold so near and dear. And so I've never gone really past about one person working for me until lately, because I'm realizing dude, if I want to impact the people that I'm called to impact, it's going to take more than just me.
Yeah.
But how do you break that through people who maybe have found a little bit and I would say I've found a little bit of success, comfortable success when you look at it after the fact, of doing things myself, but realizing that the next level is going to require a lot of help. How do you break people off that?
Yeah. So one of the statements I make all the time is something that I heard the Spirit of God speak to me years ago. And I try to project that same thing to the people I coach. He said, everything that you do, do it with the assumption that it'll be wildly successful. So if we do all things with the assumption that it'll be successful, it's almost negligent to think we can do it alone.
So good.
So if the assumption that it'll be successful, it's impossible. It can be done with just one person. There has to be a team for every thought. So I look at Jesus. Before he did anything, he assembled a team. And the way he assembled a team, which leads to messaging, is that he goes and gets Peter and he says, follow me, I'll make you fishers of men. Why fishers of men? Because Peter's already fishing. The messaging must mirror what Peter is already doing or he's not interested.
Let's go.
So when he says, I'll make you fishers of men, he's saying, I'm inviting you on a journey to do what you're already doing at the next level with me.
So good.
That's what messaging is. Inviting people on a journey to do what they want to do already, but giving them a success picture of how they can do it at the next level, right? So we have to break the codependency, the ideas that we can do it alone. We look at our lives, and if we look at our resources, our finances, our emotions, our mind, everything in our life that is successful has been done through partnership.
Yep.
We've got to pause right there because I'm in the giving mood. I decided to offer you a free gift, absolutely free. Now, I tell you all the time about turning your ideas into online income, but how am I going to tell you to do something and not provide the resource for it? There's so many questions that people have online about what should I post? How do I get my engagement up? How do I get people to click the link in my bio, buy from me? What should I sell, whether it's an ebook, an online course? How much should I charge? How do I launch? How do I do a webinar? You see what I'm saying? So I decided to create a free training and give it to you that you can utilize to learn how to literally take the services that you do or the ideas you have and build a successful online company. Go to www.monetizewithmarcus.com, my gift to you. You're welcome.
So first thing we have to do is we turn ourselves into an SOP. What does that mean? You ask yourself this question. When I do this, then they do that. You start, you know what I'm saying? It's a if then. If this happens, then this happened. If we press record and record the video, then what should happen on the back end? Those SOPs are easily handed off. You want someone that you can hang your thought and you can follow through. Why? Because you got to reserve your mind for creativity, for innovation. So I would rather all of us, I wouldn't say I would rather, all of us should be thinking about how do we find someone that wants to do these things, right? Some of the things that are tasks for us, but enjoyable for other people.
And that's a limiting belief I've always had. Why would somebody want to do that? You know,
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I have built the team to now at the time of filming this, I'm at about 4 people that is helping me, and they're pumped.
Yeah.
Like my sales guy, he's like, bro, because I love you and I know what you're about, I can all day, you know? And I'm like, dang, that's crazy because I don't want to do it. And so, yeah, I think that it's a little bit of that it's a belief to know that there are people who actually want to do it and even do it with you and for you.
Man, I think for all of us, right? So we just can't wrap our head around somebody would want to do that.
Yeah.
Right? But if you look at, let's say, a Beyonce or whoever your favorite singer is, whether it's a rock group, someone wants to be on stage while someone else is sitting there saying, man, the audio's low. So one person's looking at the staging, one person's looking at the lighting, one person's listening for the audio, another person's looking at the seating. This is how God made all of us. We all can go in the same environment and see something different because we're drawn to it based on our talents.
Yep.
So with that being said, we're inviting someone into our environment to do what they're wired towards doing anyway. And now this is this enjoyable thing that we all get to do, the thing that we love. We all get to win together. We all get the opportunity to say, man, we all make up this individual piece of the journey. And it's hard for us because we're servants at heart. We think, man, I'm taking advantage of a person. Yeah. Oh, I don't want them to do this. But in essence, the person's like, no, I want to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, there's this book called The Business Secrets from the Bible.
I have that one.
Yeah, it's written by a rabbi. I forget his name, but the premise is the reason why Jews are wildly successful is because they believed in God's economy and that, you were wired, designed, called to do a thing on this planet. And he was saying how you'll never find a Jew who is a lawyer, mow their lawn, fix their car, because they feel like you're actually ruining God's economy because there's somebody that's supposed to do that.
So true.
So you're not only robbing yourself from the inefficiency of trying to figure it out, fix my car, mow my lawn, whatever that may be. And just like examples, but like somebody else is so good at that and was called by God to actually do that. And so it actually, when you put it that way, you're like, dude, I don't want to mess it up, you know? But I love that Jesus actually did that. Something that, Myron Golden says is like, help people with what they know they have a problem with, and then help them with what they need and what And when Jesus calls Peter and he uses Peter's language, Peter didn't have to think about it. He dropped his nets immediately. It says immediately at once he dropped his nets. And so it really does, like you said, it shows the power of messaging.
Yeah.
Like, I a lot of times I'm in my head when it comes. I've found that like a lot of what I do when I write sermons or, communicate in the church context, I should be doing in the business context, but I don't know. I don't do a good job. Like, how do people get good at messaging?
Yeah. So, couple rules. Number one, before we even get into messaging, a confused mind always rambles. So I always tell people, I'm gonna say it again, a confused mind always rambles. Simplicity, clarity, always allow someone to point at something, right? So even that's a sticky statement. That's something that a confused mind always rambles. When a person feels the need to give context, backstory, well, kind of like it says your mind is confused because you're thinking the person is confused. So you're over elaborating something they didn't need in order to make a decision.
Wow.
Right. So we start with that. Number two, how does a person get good with messaging? I believe that when we speak from our truth and speak from our heart about, if I ask you, hey, tell me your name and your backstory, you have to mentally go to the stories that stand out that's most important to you.
Right.
That immediately is the foundation of messaging, like finding out what's pertinent to the audience. Someone asked me recently, it was like, what do you think is your best speech you've ever done? I said, the one that the audience needed the most.
Dang.
Right? That's messaging. It's understanding. It's not what I want to say, is what the person needs.
Yep.
Now, in terms of how does a person get very, very good at packaging messaging, we first have to understand that messaging is marketing. Most people separate the two and say messaging is here, marketing is here. No, messaging is marketing. And every time you change your price point, there has to be a messaging change as there is a price change, because the way that you sell a $1 product is not how you sell $3,000 product. What we sell in the online space is words. If you are a course creator, a service provider, if you do video content, if you are a content creator, and you are trying to sell anything in this space, you are selling your words and you are packaging and selling thoughts.
Man.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you start understanding this, you immediately sit with that and you say, okay, here is what I walk people through. A person, in order to make a buying decision, needs to have a very clear success picture. That meaning what happens after they buy from you. The way
good.
Right? So you visit the future and you describe that, and then you come back and you talk to a person's present point. So to make it practical, how does a person get good at messaging? What you want to do is you need a pickup location and a drop-off location, just like Uber or anything else. What's a pickup location? Where are you picking someone up in their educational journey? Do they need you to define these terms? If you're teaching them about funnels, do they know funnels already? If they know funnels already, they don't need backstory. If they don't know funnels already, they need terminology. See, the pickup location.
So good.
If you're saying, hey, I'm going to help someone that is looking to build an at-home studio, well, what's the pickup location? Is it someone that already has a studio and they're trying to figure out how to build their studio on a shoestring budget?
Right.
Is it someone that money isn't a thing and they're trying to build a studio and have their team do it, right? You can't do messaging without a pickup location, because if you talk beneath me, you bore me, right? So if I know what an LLC is and you spend your time explaining it to me, you bore me.
Right.
If you talk beyond me, you lose me. You have to have a pickup location in your messaging so you don't talk beneath me too long to bore me, talk beyond me to where you lose me.
You should quit working for free. How did social media hire all of us to be their workforce? We're on the app posting videos, going live, creating reels. We do not get paid when we create content on social media. They do. by selling our content to advertisers. But how do you actually build an online business using social media? I want to break it down for you and give you access to it. There's 5 simple steps. I'll tell it to you in a few seconds. Step number 1 is client attraction. I'm going to show you how to actually attract clients that will happily pay you what you're offering. Step number 2, how to capture them. How do you get their emails? How do you get their phone numbers? How do you get them to show up to your event? Be on your Zoom calls. To what I refer to as client dating. It's where you nurture a relationship with people to get them to say yes to whatever you're offering. And I'm even going to show you what type of content to create that gives you brand visibility and brand recognition. I call it content to cash flow. You get access wherever you're watching this video. You'll see it in the description and you'll see it beneath this. Let's get back to the episode.
My mind goes, and it's just the natural thing my mind's doing right now is, but I want to have a message for everyone.
Yeah. It's impossible, right? If you walk into a room and you yell mom, only the people with a kid answer. If you walk in a room and yell woman, everyone looks, but you don't hold them forever.
Dang.
All the women look for a second. So the question becomes, when you're making money online, it's attention conversion. So if I scream loud, you'll look for a second, but when you realize nothing's happening, you turn away. How long do you want people to look? So if you talk to everybody, you don't hold them a long time, and you can't convert the attention into a transaction. This is why there has to be a clear pickup location in messaging.
Yeah. How does one get confident with choosing?
Yeah.
I'm going to choose that this is the group of people I want to help. This is the stage of life that they're in, or in the process that I can help with the pickup location. How can somebody be confident in that?
You can have more than one. It's a part of our journey. So you don't have to be, I'll just use 0 to 5 as an example. If you are at 1 in your education, your skill, your revenue, whatever you've overcome, if you're doing weight loss and you're at a 1 in your weight loss journey, you always teach backwards, you invest forward. So if you're at 1, you teach from 1 backwards. If you're at 2, you teach from 2 backwards. If you're trying to accelerate and speed up the process of who you can help, you have to invest forward. You cannot teach beyond you. You can only teach behind you.
Right.
Right. So the clarity in that is saying, hey, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Out of these groups of people, who specifically do I want to help? Now, you might want to help all of them. This is going to make all the sense in the world.
Dude, I can feel it. I'm ready. I'm listening.
All right. So you say, I've done these 5 things. I can help all of them. However, I notice whenever I work with this group of people, it aggravates me because they're asking too many questions. It gets confusing. It's a messy environment. This should be where you package your thoughts, where they get your thoughts, but not your time. So now you have, hey, man, if I'm just getting started, you, because of where you are in life, that's going to be exciting at first. But 3-4 years from now, it's going to be aggravating because you can only spend so much time serving who you used to be. You have to start serving who you are now.
Right.
So you package that into an automated course where that you serve that person by giving them your thoughts, but not your time.
Love it.
So you can monetize even your aggravation. When clients are in ideation in my space, like I like to help people make money. If you're in ideation and you're like, I don't know what I want to do. That's not where I live anymore, but I want to help that person.
Yeah.
So that's a process, and it's something that's documented. So a person has to stand in their truth, be realistic, be honest, and say, what makes me come alive? When I'm talking to someone, if it is a chore, if it doesn't flow, if it's not natural, and you start realizing like, man, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel drained? That's not your audience, bro. You know, you need to serve an audience that when you give to it, it gives back to you. The natural cycle of life, that when you are giving to something and it's giving back to you, that tells you that's your audience. Stand in that truth, serve that audience. It's not saying abandon everybody else, but there's a way to serve them without you depleting yourself, because the best thing for your clients is the thing that's best for you. Right. So that's part of how you stand in there.
There's so much. I mean, I think the underlying kind of like characteristic you should have is self-awareness. Just
100%.
Just be self-aware to know that, like, man, although I delivered on this, I just don't like how I feel after the fact.
100%.
I feel like it wasn't either worth my time. It was very frustrating. You know, because I've helped people in so many ways and they've all worked.
Yeah.
But I always just have to come back to that place of like, what do I enjoy doing the most?
Yeah.
You know? So I love that. Okay, so like level 1, you can automate the thing that frustrates you. I love that you said
100%. If I tell someone, if 10, 15, 20, 30 people ask you the same question, If you enjoy answering that question, create a community around it. If you don't enjoy answering that question, get in front of a camera once, answer it, and sell that. Right?
Yeah.
So you monetize aggravation, you monetize pain, you monetize your ability to help people in the most efficient way. Because ultimately, you're not helping them if you're doing a lot of. Here's what I find a lot of mistakes people make. They do way too much custom coaching, right? So if you
Yeah.
say, "Hey, this person needs this person needs this person needs this," that's not efficient.
Right.
You need a clear process that people can walk through, right? From this to this to this to this, and you grow them into where you are now. Now, if you were say these are the best practices, these are the things that you ought to have in place. Ours, if you don't mind, I can break it down very, very quickly.
Run it.
So one of our systems is what we call D4. Discover, design, deliver, delegate. This is our highest tier. This is Mob Millionaires. In discovery, we do 4 things. Mindset, which is not a motivational speech or a sermon. It is the terms and the things you need to know to be a successful CEO of an education company. Messaging, it is what you need to say. Brand promise, brand story. To deliver on that as the guardrails to know what to say, meaning what does someone get when they get you? If you say, I help, if you're in the fitness space, brand promise would be, I help this group, I'll use it this way. I help busy CEOs lose stubborn belly fat without giving up foods they love, going on fad diets, and spending hours in the gym. That's a promise. It's very clear. I'm helping entrepreneurs that don't want to abandon their business, don't want to go on fad diets, and don't want to give up foods they love, but they want to lose stubborn belly fat. That's a promise.
So good.
Connected to a story. We do that for you in your brand message. So we got mindset, messaging, monetization, all the ways you can make money. So we'll take one product. If it's a course, that course could be a 2-day, a VIP day. It could be a high ticket program. It could be a 5-day challenge. It could be so many things, right? We even turn into content. So monetization is all the ways you can use that one thing, and then marketing. That's very clear in discovery. In design, that's when we're actually designing the course, building the funnel, writing the emails. In deliver, we show you how to launch and sell it. Once we show you how to launch and sell, and there's so many different ways that we can help you launch. We got about 6 or 7 different ways. We get a person to $10,000 or more with in terms of like consistent 5-figure months. Now we scaled an offer to 6 figures. We show you how to delegate and remove yourself from it. That's a very clear process that anyone that comes in, they're going through that. That's Mob Millionaires. If they're going into 5-figure months mastermind, it's create, launch, sell, scale. It's a system, right? Create the offer. We help them launch the offer, and we show you how to create a consistent monthly launch cycle where every month you're launching and generating 5-figure months and working less than 5 days. We show you how to sell it, how to sell with webinar, how to sell with challenge, how to sell via DM, how to sell over the phone, and then how to scale that offer to 6 figures and beyond. Notice how everything I'm talking about,
So good.
the person can see what? A success picture.
Yeah.
They know exactly what we're going to do. They know exactly what's needed for them. So they know our process. If we can do this for people, we remove the risk reversal. It's called risk reversal, right?
Yeah.
The person doesn't feel there's a risk in it. You can clearly see, oh man, that's
no
what you're gonna
brainer.
do. We're going to create a course for you you can sell for $1,000 or more. We're gonna help you launch it where now you're creating once a month a consistent 5-figure launch. We're showing you how to sell it. If someone says no, how to do follow-up offers and how to scale that offer. You know, that's what messaging is.
Dude, so I mean, this is a space that isn't old yet. This is still, fresh.
Yeah.
My question is like, how did you arrive to these conclusions and frameworks and standard SOPs?
I've come to these conclusions based on everything is a system and a framework. It's the only way to function. It could be personality type too. I'm very organized. I'm very I like things put together. When things are unclear, I don't know how to function, but it also helps for the person who's listening with sales. A confused buyer always says no. So if you're confused and they're confused, and when I say no, that doesn't mean they actually say no.
Yeah.
They'll say, I'll wait. Let me think about it. Let me talk it over with the wife. They'll look at the site. They'll abandon cart you to death. They'll be on 5 webinars when in essence, they're really just confused.
Yeah.
So I've come to the conclusion, everyone wants to be led and everyone wants to make a decision with extreme clarity. They want to know specifically, you understand me. You understand where I am. You understand my pain. You understand my frustrations. You understand my fears, as well as You earn the right to be paid by you working for free to learn to solve a problem for people that you don't even know yet. So if right now you are developing the talent and the skill to help someone, let's say, get better with content. Well, you don't know the people that's going to pay you. So for 2 years, you earn the right to be paid by having deep empathy to learn how to do something that later on you'll help people with.
Right.
That's the thing, right? That's the conclusion I come to. I think that service and empathy and skill development comes first. And then by the time you come to people, you know their problem better than they do. So all you're doing is articulating to them the questions that they have, the concerns that they have, the fears that they have, and offering them an opportunity. Like rule number one of the mob, and anybody who's from the mob family, it's not the mob, it's Monetize Online Business Blueprint. Our rule number one is we don't sell products, we don't sell courses, we don't sell services, we sell solutions to problems, answers to questions. When we understand that, it's a level of empathy, it's a level of concern, it's a level of humanity to say, it's not a course. I just took the solution to the problem, answers the question, and packaged it into a course.
Sure.
If we function from that place, that's a clear conclusion that people want to solve their problem. They want to answer their question.
Dude, how long have you been doing this?
Whoo! I've been in this space.
And I know it probably, dude, my whole life. Like, I mean, you, as far as like, you've been seeing it, you've been doing it. Yeah, but like, how long have you been in space?
I've been in this space since 2014. 2014 is when I first got introduced to funnels and all that. It was freeconferencecall.com. There was no Zoom, right? Zoom didn't exist. I was using Periscope. I don't know if anybody remembers.
It was like a plug-in with Twitter.
Yeah.
Like you go live.
So I was using Periscope, freeconferencecall.com. Zoom didn't exist. There was no Facebook Live. There was no Instagram Live. And I was trying to figure it out.
Wow.
I wasn't as...
It's crazy how like, when you look back, you're like, yeah, it wasn't there yet.
Yeah. It wasn't as structured as it is now. I've made a lot of mistakes and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what I try to do is just study people. I try to study people and figure out what do they need, how do I simplify it, and now my company will always be a lot heavy done for you because what I'm learning now is in the information age, you can't necessarily sell information, you sell implementation. People want, the gap is, they feel like, oh, I can get the information. But the gap between the information, there's an implementation and execution and skill gap that you bridge for people with done-for-you services and a belief transfer to show them how that they can do it.
That's so good. I would say I found it so much more easier to sell done for you in my journey because I'm like, you know, I'm doing both. I'm doing like the coaching delivery where it's done with you in essence, and then I've done like the dialed in a day is what I call it, when I just come in and then I send you the list, I come in, I set it all up, I show you how to use it and your team how to use it, and usually I don't even have to sell that because the frustration sells itself.
We were sitting talking earlier, and 4 different times I said, Omar, take my money. Because it's true. It's true. Like when you are remember, that's not a service, that's a solution to a problem, answer to a question, right? So if I'm smart enough to identify that you are the solution to my problem, right? What you sell is the solution to my problem, and you are the solution to my problem. So all of us, if we're creating content, it's not just content. What we ultimately are doing with that Google search box, that YouTube search box, it is not just words they're typing in. They are looking for us. If someone says how to do blank,
right?
We are our life. Our skill is filling in that blank, right? We are the optimization, the search engine that they're looking for.
When the student is ready, the teacher appears.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.